Hey everyone, in this video with the Christmas holidays rapidly approaching, literally in several days, we wanted to talk about love languages and, some of the gifts you can give without actually giving gifts. So love languages are basically there's 5 types of love languages, and these are how people best experience appreciation and feelings of love. So, when you feel like someone actually cares about you, you feel loved by someone else. It's
There's certain things that speak to you differently,
exactly
depending on what you value.
Yeah, it's not the same across the board with every person. There's fundamentally 5 categories of love languages, and these are receiving gifts, doing acts of service, physical touch, spending quality time together, and getting words of affirmation. Um, sorry, Brian is freaking out a little right now because our cat's an
Guys,
asshole.
can you stop? Those are my decorations. All of them this time. That never happens.
Okay, you good?
I'm sorry.
All right.
I think we're good.
Okay, so we're not going to restart this video because hopefully you got a laugh out of that. But yeah. God,
Oh my God.
wow. Anyway, so on the Christmas season, Christmas is traditionally about giving gifts, especially with kids. Kids are very, it could be argued that receiving gifts is the first love language of everyone, because I mean, kids love getting gifts, right? And part of that might just be because of the simplicity of it, right? You got something,
it's like novelty too,
and you're giving it, and you're giving it to someone else. And so Christmas is historically about giving gifts to one another. And that's awesome. I think everyone likes receiving a good gift, right? But
some people are pretty indifferent.
Yeah, like some people are indifferent. Me, I don't care. I tell her, don't give me anything. I don't want anything. There's nothing I need.
Most men fall into certain categories with love languages, and I'll get into that after we start talking about them a little more too.
Yeah. So basically the whole point that we're trying to lead up to here is that in the Christmas season, regardless of whether you get someone a gift or not, there are things that you can do based on their love language that could really, speak to them and truly let them know that you love them.
Even more so than just like a meaningless material possession.
Yeah, exactly. And so with that being said, we're going to go through each of the 5 categories and, just talk about them briefly. So the first one, just to get out of the way, is gift giving. Yeah, people have a love language where they like receiving gifts. And so in that case, it's almost like, wow, Christmas is perfect because it's pretty traditional to get them a gift. But you are probably getting them gifts regularly throughout the year, especially if you've already determined that this is their love language, right? Because you don't want to just show them that you love them.
I think a lot of people have like a lot of misconceptions around the gifts too. They think it's like material possessions when that's not it. Something that's an example of this is when your kid brings you a rock. That is a gift, even if it isn't like extravagant. Like still, people that have that as a love language, they take value in that rock that their child gave them.
Yeah.
So it's not all like stuck up snobs that want material possessions. Like that's not. A lot of people misunderstand that.
It's the thought of giving them something that you went out and got for them.
Yeah, that you were thinking of them. Like, and you saw a possession of some sort.
And so it could be anything. And the key with this is to just, listen to your partner or whoever it is you're trying to get a gift for. Listen to things they say they want throughout the year, and then surprise them with some of the things. Let them know you were listening and you're getting them something they actually wanted. And if they don't tell you, then I mean, just ask them. Like there's nothing wrong with asking someone, what do you want for a gift, and see what they actually say. Next up would be acts of service. So kind of what it sounds like. You're doing things for them. You're doing things that they normally do.
Caveat is a lot of people don't want to be asked.
Yes.
Like, so I know a lot of men can relate to this, where their wives will be like, why didn't you take out the trash and do the dishes? Like, they don't want to ask you to do those things. So it doesn't count like as speaking their love language if they're asking you to do it.
Yeah.
Like on a daily basis, right? So try to like pick up those kind of things, or fix something that got broke that is in the stack of to be fixed stuff without them asking.
Yeah, or if there are chores that they normally do, especially, or if there's chores that they do, but that it always stresses them out, or just they don't enjoy doing it, do it for them without them asking. Just do it for them. Especially, Christmas Eve and Christmas, just or whatever holiday you have celebrating. Usually there's a lot of tidying up or cleaning up that needs to be done around that time. Help them out, or just start
some of the kids' presents.
Yeah, just do things for them that they would normally do, and they'll be immensely appreciative of it.
Exactly.
And so on the heels of this one and that recommendation, the next one is quality time. And so quality time is literally spending time together. And so in the last one with acts of service, I said do things they normally do for them. Maybe if their love language is quality time, do the things with them, right? So instead of wrapping some kids' presents for them, maybe make an effort to wrap presents with them at the same time, because it's not, yeah, exactly. It's not the service being done, it's the time spent together.
Plan a hike.
Plan a hike, plan a dinner, especially if you have kids, plan a night away from the kids. Find the babysitter, book the babysitter. Don't even talk to your wife about this or whatever, or your partner. Just plan everything and then let go and let them know that you booked out this huge period of time to just spend with them.
Yep.
Figure out things that they like to do.
Yeah, you should know by now too. Yeah. Like, if they like concerts or quiet,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so next up, physical touch. Some people's love language is through touch. People feel loved when you hug them, when you kiss them, when you cuddle them, comfort them. It's making that skin on skin contact, right?
Yeah, and hopefully that you married someone that likes that too, because that's a really horrible mismatch that I've seen before.
Yeah, it can be bad if one person just doesn't like having that close
constant touch.
And the other person needs it to feel loved. That can
cause relationship issues.
Yeah, but even if that is you, especially over the holidays, make an effort, because if you
hold their hand,
hold their hand, hug them,
touch their shoulder, it's just little things.
Yep, let them know that you're there and you care about them. And especially if it's not something you do very often, maybe because there is an understanding from you and your partner that that's just not something that you enjoy doing. If you make an effort to do it, it'll really show
so much.
And the last one is words of affirmation. And this is like touch, except with your voice. It's reminding people that
the character traits that you like.
Yeah,
about them.
It's complimenting people, basically. It's telling them that you love them. It's reminding them that through your voice that you care about them.
Yeah, and I find that more men fall into the physical touch and the words of affirmation. And I think that's because a lot of boys are deprived of those things when they were little. And so they look for that in their significant other, because we relive our parental relationships through our whole life. It's our attachment style. There's
a lot of memes out there about men where it's like showing the guy curled up in the bed with a little note or something, just super happy, and then it's men holding on to that compliment they got 7 years ago.
Yep.
Or something.
It's actually kind of sad, but a lot of men fall into those categories. There's so many online tests that you guys can take. There's a book, I forget the person that wrote it, but I got my hands on it years and years ago.
Yeah, and so there are while there's obviously men and women in every one of these categories, from a pattern standpoint, women tend to enjoy gifts, quality time, and acts of service, while men need physical touch and words of affirmation.
Yep.
And there's likely an evolutionary drive behind that, because just think about
resources.
An evolutionary relationship. The woman is the one who performs kind of like the more traditional household chores and all of that type of thing, whereas the men are the one who go out, work, put their life on the line in that sense. From an evolutionary perspective, right? So
that's not obviously how we're all living.
So now, to use different terms, like in the hunter-gatherer societies, the men go out, they forage, they hunt wild game, they collect, harder to obtain foods and bring them back to camp, and the women are taking care of babies or possibly also out foraging. And so men need to know the woman's there. They need to have that touch. They need to let the man know they're doing a great job. And men really hold on to this. Whereas women, it's like women are always slaving. Like they don't have it easy. They're always slaving away, holding down the fort. And so if a man is like, I can take a break from my other responsibilities and hold down this fort with you, whether it be through quality time, giving them a gift, like I went and found this and I want you to have it, or, doing certain things for them, women are just like, thank you.
And I think that's an evolutionary pressure too. Like women evaluate even roles in like partners by what resources they can get. If you like it or not, if you're a strong bad bitch or not, like that's what you look for. And so that's just probably why we prefer like acts of service and gifts. And
but again, everyone will
fall all over.
All over the place.
A blanket recommendation. But
awesome. Okay, so well, hopefully this was helpful for Christmas, especially if you still haven't bought a gift yet and you're like, I don't know what to get them. Figure out just text them like the love language test and figure out what they are, and then maybe a gift shouldn't be the highest thing on your priority list. Maybe you need to figure out a way to get some quality time with them, or do some acts of service for them, or maybe all you have to do is touch them and remind them that you love them. It's not always about gifts. Okay, so if you like the content of this video, awesome. That's what we're trying to do. Maybe share it around, share it with people who you think need to hear this message about love languages so they stop stressing out over the holidays. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone.